Everyone, welcome to the September 17th West Covina Traffic Committee meeting. The time is 6:02 p.m. Robert, if you'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah. Please stand and just repeat after me.
Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Robert. Next on our agenda is roll call, so I'll read through our list here. Assistant City Manager Neil Mehta.
Here.
Thank you. Capital Improvement Project Program Manager Robert Ortega.
Here.
Finance Director Karen Ogawa.
Here.
And then from Maintenance, Brian Lewis. Here. Thank you. Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes from August 12th, 2025, Traffic Committee meeting. The minutes are provided in your binder. Are there any questions or comments regarding those minutes?
Nope.
If none, I'll accept a motion and a second to approve.
I'm sorry, I have a question on the minutes. If
Yes.
we were not present, do we have to abstain, or if we reviewed and concur?
If you've had the opportunity to review and you concur that these are indeed accurate from what occurred at the meeting, then yes, you can vote.
Thank you. Move to approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you. And a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. So I'll read through. We're going to do roll call votes on everything, so I'm going to read through right now. Assistant City Manager Neil Mehta, if you would indicate either yes or no.
Yes.
Capital Improvement Program Manager Robert Ortega.
Yes.
Finance Director Karen Ogawa.
Yes.
And then from Maintenance, Brian Lewis.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is new business. The first item is a traffic review of West Puente Avenue between North Vincent Avenue and North Sunset Avenue. Residents have requested a traffic review of the existing conditions along Puente Avenue between Vincent and Sunset due to vehicles speeding along the segment. Residents are requesting the installation of additional traffic calming measures. A traffic review of existing conditions has been conducted per the guidelines of the California Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, California Vehicle Code, West Covina City Guidelines, as well as engineering judgment. A list of options is presented to the Traffic Committee tonight for review and direction. The recommended action at this time, it's recommended that the Traffic Committee review the report with the city traffic engineer, listen to public comment, and provide direction, and we'll have a presentation by Jana Robbins of TransTech Engineers at this time.
Thank you, Michael. Good evening, panel. Okay, so this location, we received a request from a resident for Puente Avenue from Vincent to Sunset. Residents were concerned with the excessive speeding, so we did our due diligence. We had counts, we did radar speed survey, and found out what is really going on that street. So if you look here, the posted speed on Puente is 40 miles per hour. It has roughly 9,600 vehicles. Now, the 85th percentile speed was at 46 miles per hour, so it is higher than the speed limit. There is parking, and it's mainly residential in this area. Next slide. We looked at the collision history, and there's 15 collisions between January 22 to July 2025. Some of them all along Puente. It wasn't just in one concentrated area. There were a couple at Puente and Vincent, which is one of the major streets. So we kind of, we're looking at the mid-block collisions. So there were 9 mid-block collisions. We did, as I mentioned, found out how much daily traffic for 24-hour period was 9,600. And then the speed survey we took was a 24-hour speed survey in August, and it found that the 85th percentile speed, which means 85% of the vehicles were traveling at 46 miles per hour or less. So we have pictures and stuff in the report. Based on our engineering judgment, because of the speeding, we are suggesting that it would qualify for additional measures. Some is remove and replace faded signal head warning sign. Some of the signs were faded, so we would replace those with more updated, newer signs. The 40 miles per hour speed limit signs faded, so we'd remove and replace that. And then the new ones would be install 40 mile per hour pavement legends next to the 40 mile per hour signs, both directions. And then because of the high speed and the fact that it is residential, we are suggesting that a solar powered radar speed feedback signs be placed kind of in the mid-block of the segment one for each direction. And that would be as shown. Can you do the next slide? Oh, there we go. We normally put the speed limit above the your speed sign, so if someone not hits it, but they run by it, it flashes what their speed is, and it reminds them what the posted speed limit is. And that is our recommendations.
So at this time, we'll open it up for public comment. I don't have any speaker slips, but I do want to afford those in attendance the opportunity to speak if they wish. I'm not seeing any, so thank you. So at this time, it's up to the committee to ask any questions, make any comments that they may have so that the TransTech team can address. And if there are no comments or questions, I will be seeking a motion in a second.
Are the costs listed?
No, we have traditionally not provided those costs, but if it's the committee's so desire, we can provide estimates in the future.
The budget can absorb the minor increase?
Yes, so there is a line item within the CIP for this very activity. I apologize, Finance Director, I know the interest is there. But yes, there are funds available for these actions.
Excellent, thank you. Move to approve the recommendation as follows.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. I'll conduct roll call at this time. Assistant City Manager Neil Mehta.
Approve.
Thank you. Capital Improvement Program Manager Robert Ortega.
Approve.
Finance Director Karen Ogawa.
Approve?
And for Maintenance, Brian Lewis.
Approve.
Thank you. Approved 4-0. Next on the agenda is a traffic review of West Merced Avenue and South Willow Avenue. Residents have requested a traffic review of the existing conditions at the intersection of Merced and Willow due to multiple collisions involving vehicles hitting the stop signs located on the intersection medians and being knocked over. Residents are requesting measures to be put in place to ensure that the stop signs are not knocked over. After a review of the existing field and traffic conditions per the guidelines in the California Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, California Vehicle Code, West Covina City Guidelines, as well as engineering judgment, a list of options is presented to the Traffic Committee tonight for review and direction. The recommended action at this time, it's recommended that the Traffic Committee review the report with the city traffic engineer, listen to any public comment, and then provide direction. And once again, a presentation will be provided by Jana Robbins of TransTech Engineers.
Back. Okay, so this one, the city has several intersections that are similar with the island kind of in the middle, and it is the middle stop sign has been run over several times. So in this one, Merced is posted 40 miles an hour and Willow is 25 miles an hour. The medians are in the Merced. So this is the one where the stop sign is usually run over, knocked down, whatever. We looked at the collisions on this, and we found that there were a total of 4 collisions, 2 of hitting an object in 2024. So I'm assuming it's probably the stop sign. So for this one, as we have come across the other ones, what we are recommending to make the median in the middle more visible is that to obviously remove any center stop signs that are faded, replace that with, we want to do the bounce back sign. We don't want a solid sign that it's going to injure someone, so they have to be on the signs that they get knocked over, but it doesn't impale the driver or whatever. So what we are suggesting is replace the faded stop signs, put all-way plaque, which is MUTCD guided, because it's an all-way stop. Install the object marker as shown in the picture, and then repaint the existing median and centerline pavement markings with retro-reflective yellow along both directions of Merced, and then also add the RPMs along the striping, so that at night, we're assuming that they're getting run over at night, that'll be more visible for those drivers. I know the resident requested that the stop signs be moved to the west or to the east, but they're on an island, so you can't move those. It's, it's in the middle. And then the last is also add for, I think all the stop signs, put the red reflective post, and we're suggesting that you do the whole post, not just the front as you approach, but also do the backside, especially the ones in the center median, so that when headlights, you can see it. At least you'll see a red reflector. And if you've driven by any of them that have been done already, it does work at night. The headlights shine on this and it is brighter. So we're saying remove some of the ones that are on the existing signs. They've kind of peeling and they're faded. So let's put brighter, new reflectives. Tape. And then also to repaint the red curb on the approach for the intersection because it's really faded as well. And then also refresh the stop and stop bar pavement legends at the intersection because it's really faded too. So, I mean, you can look and see when this Merced will be the pavement done on that project. If it's coming up soon, then, so it does need to be repainted. And that's it.
Thank you, Jana. At this time, we'll open it up for public comment. I don't have any speaker slips, but I want to afford the audience an opportunity to speak if they so wish. Not seeing any. Thank you. I'll turn to the panel. Are there any questions or comments for the Transtech team at this time on this item?
I have a question. So, I've been working here 28, 29 years, whatever it is. I myself have changed this stop probably over 100 times, easy. Was there ever any thought of putting like any kind of overhead blinking red? I see them elsewhere and obviously they can't get hit, but I know there probably is a substantial cost at putting it overhead, but we're replacing this particular intersection at least like 6, 7, 8 times a month. It's down right now, I think. So is there any other remedy besides to keep replacing this same one, which I'm sure is costing the city, a bundle at the end of the day? Maybe we can put something overhead, just like one blinking light or, you know, four ways or whatever it may be. And that'll never get hit again ever. But
Yeah, we'll have to research what type of poles that would need and the device to go over the thing, and we could bring it back with some costs and see if it would be cost effective to do that. I know this isn't the only one in the city like this. It has a
there's about
bunch, yes.
6.
Yeah, so,
Is there sufficient street lighting on the cross street? There is.
One thing also, for the committee members, what we can look at and bring back to the committee if you so desire, is when this location would next be, get a pavement rehab, and we can relook at the design of the raised median. From what I see, based on the dimensions that are provided here, there's some opportunities to do some lane width adjustments so that we expand the width of the median so that we have a true raised median. And also, I would also recommend to the committee that we should remove the portion of the median that's within the crosswalk. That's not good. So that's something, it's a much larger project in and of itself, obviously from an expense. So what I would recommend to the committee is we move forward as recommended for phase 1, and then we'll look at a phase 2 and bring it back for consideration. That would include the over the roadway flashing beacon, the red beacon. Obviously there's a cost associated, but we can certainly look at the feasibility. It certainly makes sense. And then provide information in terms of when the next paving project is so that we can incorporate some changes to that physical design and hopefully better protect the stop sign.
And also remove the median in the walkway, right?
Exactly.
Some of the concerns I've seen with the flashing is the neighbors
Correct.
have complaints about that, so that's something to consider as well.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. And that would have to be part of our analysis and presentation, is more than likely the residents that are immediately adjacent, it's going to flash in their bedroom, all night long.
So you're requesting phase 1?
Yes, so we can kind of couch it as tonight's action is phase 1, if I may propose this, and then phase 2 we'll bring back at a future date for your consideration. And if there's no more comments or questions, then I would respectfully request a motion and a second as amended.
Okay, I motion to approve as amended.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. I'll go through the roll call, just a moment. Assistant City Manager Neil Mehta.
Approve?
Thank you. Capital Improvement Program Manager Robert Ortega.
Approve.
Thank you. Finance Director Karen Okawa.
Approved?
And for Maintenance Brian Lewis.
Approve.
Thank you. Approved 4-0. The third item I will introduce now, traffic review of Citrus Street and Lark Hill Drive. Residents have requested a traffic review for the intersection of Citrus and Lark Hill due to vehicles traveling along Citrus Street, running the stop signs located at the intersection of Citrus and Lark Hill. Additionally, residents also have reported speeding issues along Citrus near Montezuma Way, and there is a difficulty turning left from Montezuma Way onto Citrus Street. After a review of the existing field and traffic conditions, and per the guidelines in the California Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, California Vehicle Code, West Covina City Guidelines, as well as engineering judgment, a list of options is presented to the Traffic Committee tonight for review and direction. The recommended action at this time, it's recommended that the Traffic Committee review the report with the city traffic engineer, listen to any public comment, and then provide direction. And once again, Janet Robbins with Transtech will provide the presentation.
thank you, panel. This came from a resident. It's kind of a complicated location because the South Hills Country Club is on the east side, and they have an overhead ped sign for their golf carts to cross, and it's very close to this stop sign. So I see the point from the resident that sometimes people are looking at the ped or the cart crossing instead of the stop sign, and so they may go through it. Citrus is 40 miles per hour. We did a field review, and we need to have maintenance go out and trim back some of the trees so that makes it more visible as you're approaching the stop sign. I know, trees grow at a massive rate, so it's just one of those that we need to trim that back. When we were out in the field, we noticed that it doesn't help the intersection because golf carts are just crossing wherever. They're not using the ped crosswalk. So they're in the street like a car, or they're driving on the sidewalk, or they're just crossing in the intersection. So it makes it a little difficult. So we can only, as engineers, put so many signs out and hope the people obey how they're supposed to be running. Now, I know one of the concerns was at Montezuma at Citrus, and last month, or July, we brought that item to the traffic committee, and one of the recommendation was your speed feedback signs on Citrus up more closer to Montezuma. So we've kind of dealt with that issue, and then hopefully once those signs are installed, that it'll kind of carry down to Citrus here. It's about 800 feet to Montezuma from this location, so there will be the your speed signs. It's just they haven't been installed yet. We did look and see if there was any new collisions. There was one in 2023. South of the intersection, a car hit a parked car, sideswiped a parked car. So our recommendations is mainly to make the intersection more visible to approaching motorists by refreshing the stop and the stop bars at the intersection. The stop ahead pavement markings also need to be repainted. And then make the crossing for the golf carts, the ladder, white to make it more visible, so hopefully people will see that. Right now it's just standard, the two stripes. And then it also needs, for the new daylighting, it needs 20 feet of red curb approaching the stop sign at the, let me see, at the southeast corner. And then also, like I mentioned before, the trimming the trees back for that intersection.
Okay. So at this time, we'll open it up for public comment. I do not have a speaker slip, but I do want to afford the audience an opportunity to speak if they wish. I don't see any movement, so we'll move on to the panel. If there's any questions or comments at this time from our panel.
Were any of these signs installed by the adjacent business, or all of these signs were installed by the city?
All by the city, because it's on the public.
Right, okay. So even including the yield sign
For the overhead,
Mhm.
for the carts?
Yeah.
Yes, everything was by the city, I believe.
Now, Jan, in this section, I know it's fairly dark, and I know the houses are, it looks like there's some ways
Yeah, they're
away
all
from this
the
stop, from this
estate.
intersection.
Right.
How about exploring the possibility of putting flashing stop signs here? And that's the only way we can illuminate that area.
Yeah, we could. There's just, we thought about it. It's just you have the flashing, they're supposed to poke the ped signs, and that's also flashing. So if you have the stop signs flashing, and then you have the ped sign flashing, they're very close together, so that might have a little bit of conflict.
Now, for that pad, that's that number 4, right? for the golf course?
For the golf cart?
Yeah, the golf cart.
Now, if we have that overhead blinking, is there any way we can do the, what are they called, RPMs? The raised flashing ones in that area? That way, one's on the floor and the stop sign's flashing? That way it's not so
You
confusing?
can't put it at a stop sign. You can't do the bottom ones because you can't put them at a signal or a stop control. It has to be a mid-block. You might be able to put them at the golf cart thing. It's just, are they using it? That's the only thing.
And by the pictures you guys have, I don't think they are.
Right.
There's one on the stop sign.
Yeah.
Waiting to
No,
go.
they're at the stop sign instead.
I'm in that area frequently.
Oh,
They don't
Yeah.
use it,
yeah.
No?
no. I'm in there too frequently, yes.
Were speed bumps an option? Or-
No, citrus is, the speed limit is too high. It needs to be 25 or less
Okay.
for speed bumps.
And street lighting is sufficient at the intersection, correct? It wouldn't benefit from
Yeah, I
an
think we
additional-
might, I think we need to explore the street lighting in this area. I know all the houses are like the estate houses, and most of the streets up there do not have street lighting, or it's very far apart. So it's probably at night, it's darker, so we could look into how that street lighting is and then get back with Public Works to see if it's,
Maybe we can install some solar?
Yeah.
Some solar lights?
Now they have some neat things coming in that they have those, I've seen it at some of the trade shows, they have on the pole, they have these pedestrian scale lighting that faces down over these crossings.
Oh, nice.
They're pretty neat and they're triggered by motion. So if a pet or a car or whatever comes, then it turns on. So, you know, they have them in a few places, but it's coming. You know, more advanced technology is coming that might be interesting. So I think we need to, I would also suggest that we look at street lighting and we could go at night and see how dark it is or not.
It's very dark,
Yeah, so it's probably.
and the residents'
probably
homes are
good.
tucked way far away from the street.
Mhm.
It's really dark. Yeah.
Any additional comments or questions at this time from the panel? So my recommendation is we treat this again as phase one. For your consideration, phase two would be the additional analysis for street lighting at the intersection. And once that analysis is completed, it would be brought back for your consideration at a future date.
I agree with that.
Okay, so if I could have a motion and a second as amended.
I motion it.
Thank you.
Second?
All right, thank you. I will conduct the roll call this time. Assistant City Manager Neil Mehta,
Approve?
Capital Improvement Program Manager Robert Ortega.
Here, I mean, approved?
Duly
So no, go
noted.
home, guys.
You're still here. Robert is still here. Finance Director Karen Ogawa
Approved?
and Maintenance Brian Lewis.
Approve.
Thank you. Approved 4-0. And next on our list will be our last item for consideration tonight, a traffic review around the Hollingworth Elementary School. Residents have requested a traffic review of the existing conditions along the segments of Centus Avenue between Level Glen Drive and Hollingworth Street, and along Hollingworth Street between Centus and Fern Tower Avenue. Residents expressed concern about vehicles speeding through these segments and definitely were concerned with the adjacency of Hollingworth Elementary School as well as Friendship Park. After a thorough review of existing field and traffic conditions and per the guidelines in the California Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, California Vehicle Code, West Covina City Guidelines, as well as engineering judgment, a list of options is presented to the Traffic Committee for its review and direction. It is recommended that the Traffic Committee review the report with the city traffic engineer, listen to public comment, and provide direction. And we will now have a presentation by Allison Richter from TransTech Engineers.
Thank you, Michael. Hello, panel. I'm presenting the last item today. So we received a request from the principal of the school as well to review this area and just to see what improvements that we could help do for the area. So next slide, please. So we separated this review into two segments because there were two focus areas along Hollingworth Elementary, along the west side of the school on Sentis Avenue, and on the south side of the school along Hollingworth Street. So we're going to begin by looking at segment 1 for Sentis Avenue between Level Glen and Hollingworth Street. So Sentis Avenue has a posted speed limit of 35 miles per hour for northbound, southbound, but it also has posted school speed limit signs of 15 and 25. So that's something we had to look into because they were a little bit conflicting here. We also looked into the existing street widths. It's a 50-foot wide street, so it's fairly wide with one lane of travel in each direction. And parking is allowed on both sides, which we saw when we went to the field as well. And on the west side of the street, it's not directly residential, but there are residential houses to the west of the school here. And it's also important to note on the west side of Sentis Avenue, it's City of West Covina, like unincorporated, so it's part of LA County. Next slide, please. So as part of the review, we did a collision history along the segment, and there were 2 reported collisions. However, those two collisions both involved a parked motor vehicle along the segment here. We also looked into the average daily traffic and the 24-hour speed surveys along the segment here, and there was a total of 4,091 vehicles per day the day that we reviewed along Sentis. And the speed survey, we were able to see that there was an 85th percentile speed of 40 miles per hour, which was slightly above the posted regular speed of 30 miles per hour. But as I mentioned before, there's also some posted school speed limit signs along this area too. As part of the review, we also went into the field and did some pedestrian counts. There was some concern for student-age pedestrians crossing Sentis Avenue on the west side of the street. So we did a review at not only the west side of the school, but the counts you can see on the screen here at the intersection of Sentis Avenue and Hollingworth. It's really important to note as well, there is a crossing guard who is posted at that northeast corner of the intersection, and she helps cross students on the north leg and the east leg of the intersection. So that's where we're seeing the bulk of the numbers, is where she's able to help the students cross the street safely at the all-way stop. Next slide. We also conducted some pedestrian counts, as I mentioned, on the west side of the school. There's a west gate on the west side of the school where some students are able to enter and exit near a playground that's a little bit closer to Friendship Park. So we wanted to see if there was any students crossing mid-block there, if there was a need for any additional signage, if there was any activity happening there. But there were not too many students total crossing mid-block, a little bit in the afternoon, but in the morning, not too many people. Next slide, please. I also created this diagram to just visually show you where we saw the traffic mostly along Sentis Avenue. During the drop-off pickup time, it could be fairly busy with the cars lining up on each side of the street and parking to walk their students, as well as a backup of traffic a little bit when the cars were reaching the stop sign going southbound. And I think part of that as well is to the west, I think a few hundred feet, there's the Telesis Academy, which also has a big student population. So I think that contributed to some of the traffic that we saw here, because especially in the morning, they start at the same time. So I'll go ahead and start with the recommendations for this segment. So the first recommendation is to install some white side striping along Sentis Avenue between La Puente Road and Hollingworth Street on the north side of the intersection, and along Sentis Avenue between Hollingworth Street and Valley View Avenue. This side striping will be 8 feet wide on both sides of the street to not only delineate where cars could park along the street, but to visually narrow the road and help slow vehicles down that are speeding along the street. By visually narrowing it, it'll help cars drive a little bit slower. The second recommendation is to remove and replace the faded 25 mile per hour school speed limit sign on the west side of Sentis Avenue. The third recommendation is to remove and replace stop-ahead warning sign along Sentis approaching Hollingworth, and to refresh the stop-ahead pavement legends. The fourth recommendation is to remove and replace faded school signs for school ahead, for like alerting school, like warning sign, essentially. The fifth recommendation is to remove and replace the 15 mile per hour school speed limit sign with a new 25 mile per hour school speed limit sign on the east side of Sentis Avenue. And the reason why we're keeping the 25 mile per hour speed limit sign here instead of the 15 miles per hour speed limit sign is the California Vehicle Code tells us that when the speed limit is 35 miles per hour or higher, we cannot post 15 miles per hour, like with that like being the specific like, code. So following those guidelines, we can have a 25 here, but because of the regular speed on Sentis, we can't have it 15. So, and the CVC code 22358.4, just for reference. So, and then I'll go ahead and keep going. The sixth recommendation is to remove and replace the existing stop signs and plaques with new stop signage and all-way plaques at all four corners of the intersection. The seventh recommendation is to refresh all of the existing crosswalks at the intersection and refresh them so that they're all uniform ladder crosswalks. Currently, the north and south crosswalks are ladder, but the east and west are just lines. So we want to make sure that it's all uniform, so as people are approaching it, it's all the same. In the past, they had it to delineate the basically vehicles going to different schools for path of travel, but now we want to make sure people can see efficiently as they're crossing the street. The eighth recommendation is to install a new school zone sign along the east side of Sentis, adjacent to the west gate, so it'll be closer to where some of the students may cross mid-block, so cars are aware that there may be some pedestrian activity in there, some student activity in the area. And the last recommendation is to remove and replace the school zone ahead sign with a new school zone ahead sign that's faded. And I do want to mention, there's an asterisk at the bottom here, that the recommendations 6, 7, and 9 are located within part of LA County jurisdiction. It's anything that's on the west side of Sentis Avenue, so we would have to get some county approval for some of these improvements as well. I just wanted to let you guys know that, so thank you. Would you like to speak about this segment first and then we do segment 2?
No, why don't you go ahead and provide the summary and then,
Okay.
thank you.
No worries. I know it's a lot of information at the same time. So if you have any questions, you can stop me. Okay, so that was for segment 1. In addition, we also reviewed what we're calling segment 2, which is Hollingworth Street between Sentis Avenue and Fern Tower Avenue. Along this area, we saw that there's a posted, it's a prima facie speed limit actually, of 25 miles per hour. So it's not specifically posted 25, but it's implied that it's 25 mile per hour local street. And there are posted 15 mile per hour school speed limit signs. For the average daily traffic, we saw there were 1,374 vehicles, 1,374, and 85th percentile is 28 miles per hour. The street width along Hollingworth Street was 40 feet wide with 20 feet wide lanes of travel in each direction, and there's not a marked center line here. And there are some restrictions for parking. There is parking allowed on both sides of the streets except for where there is any red curb marked, or on the north side of the street where there is white curb, which indicates a loading-unloading zone for drop-off pickup. It's also important to note, you'll see in the diagram a little later, but they have on-site drop-off as well. So in addition to their loading zone on Hollingworth, they have some cars pull into that parking lot on school property. Next slide, please. So we also completed a collision history review along this segment, and there were 4 reported collisions in the last 3 years, and 2 of those collisions involved a fixed object. We also completed an average daily traffic and 24-hour speed survey along this segment. And for the average daily traffic, there were 1,374 vehicles total on the day that the review was completed. And for the 24-hour speed survey, the 85th percentile speed was 28 miles per hour in the area where the 25 miles per hour is prima facie, 15 mile per hour school speed. But I do want to note that when we looked at the actual ADT data numbers, during the actual school hours, 45% of the vehicles traveled below 20 miles per hour. So there wasn't a lot of speeding during school times. It was bumped up by maybe other times of the day. We also completed some pedestrian counts. Just because the segments were connected, that first table is a repeat from segment 1, where it was at the specific intersection of Sentis and Hollingworth, where there's the crossing guard. And we also did a mid-block count in front of the school on the south side where like the school frontage is on Hollingworth Street, just to see how many students were actually crossing the street there. And being in the field, we did observe there were some students being crossed the street by their parents in front of the school, but there was not a ton of it. It was just a little bit in the morning. There's not a crossing guard in the middle of the street, no.
Okay.
Next slide, please.
And there's not a mid-block cross.
No.
Call ACMS and they'll get a crossing guard there. All city management service.
All city management, sure.
Yeah, all city management service, they'll get a crossing guard there if you need one. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
All right. I also provided here a diagram I created for the vehicle movement, just so you can see when we went to the field what the cars were doing along Hollingworth Street. So as you can see, like some of those blue cars, they were actually dropping their students off on site onto the school property. And the yellow cars are indicating the westbound vehicles that actually stopped along the loading zone there. And there was a backup of cars trying to turn left or turn right into the school property to drop off their student in the morning. There was more traffic in the morning just because all of the students, it was a mad rush, but they have a what's it called? A kind of offset. They have a staggered release time for their students between first through third grade and fourth through sixth. So the afternoon was not as busy. Next slide, please. It's a little bit shorter. I'll go ahead with the recommendations here. So after this review, we were able to come up with some traffic calming devices that we could install and help to improve the area. So recommendation 1 is to install white side striping along Hollingworth Street between Sentis and Morganfield Avenue on both sides of the street, with the side striping lane 8 feet wide to leave enough space for cars to park and also visually narrow the road so cars can know, like, if any time of the day, not to speed, because there's no center line in this area either. Recommendation 2 is to remove and replace the faded 15-mile-per-hour school speed limit sign located on the north side of Hollingworth Street. The third recommendation is to replace the missing 15-mile-per-hour school speed limit sign located on the south side of Hollingworth Street. The fourth recommendation is to remove and replace the faded school zone ahead sign with a new one along Hollingworth Street on the north side. And the fifth recommendation is to install a new school zone sign on the south side of Hollingworth to the east of Sentis Avenue. And I do want to address that part of the recommendation for this segment was asking for speed humps along this area. That's considered, I think it's a phase 2 or 3 item depending on what the existing conditions are. There's a lot of prerequisites that would have to be met for speed humps to be put here. And I do also want to note that between Fern Tower and Morganfield Avenue, the street curves and it's on a hill, so we wouldn't be able to put speed humps there. But the street between Sentis and Fern Tower is approximately 730 feet long, so that could be a potential solution in the future, but I think that we could start with this and see how it goes, because speed humps are expensive to maintain and install. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Allison. At this time, we'll open it up for public comment. I do not have any speaker cards, but I do want to afford the audience an opportunity to speak if they wish. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and turn it over to the panel. Are there any additional comments or questions for TransTech at this time?
Do we anticipate any challenges working with the county on the portion that belongs to them?
I don't believe we'll have any challenges.
Jump in as
Yeah.
well. So the answer is no. We have a good working relationship with the county, and as part of this, whomever installs them, it would be a matter of getting an encroachment permit And they have, for the most part, generally speaking, they've cooperated anytime that we've needed to work with them in their jurisdiction and afforded us that encroachment permit.
And from a maintenance standpoint, I painted this before, and I think the majority of this on phase one, the crosswalk that's at Centus and Hollingsworth, I think 3 of these sides are ours, and I think only 1 side is the county's. We have no issue painting their side. They allow us. It's like, we're there anyway.
Sure.
And it looks very crazy to just have 3 sides brand new and 1 side faded.
Agreed.
So if we're there, we'll paint it without an issue at all.
Well, appreciate that. My suggestion to the panel is we respectfully request that the county kind of take care of their own, that we're going to be refreshing ours and that they should follow suit. If they so choose not to, then the recommendation would be go ahead and paint the counties as well. But my preference is that they pay for their own. But at the end of the day, we need to take care of the kids
Yeah.
getting through the intersection.
Transfer of liability too is a concern.
Agree, agree. Any additional comments or questions? So we did not make any amendments to this, so at this time I would entertain a motion and a second as recommended.
I'll motion phase one.
All right,
I'll second it.
all right, thank you. I'll do the roll call vote at this time. Assistant City Manager Neil Mehta,
Approve?
Capital Improvement Program Manager Robert Ortega,
Approve.
Finance Director Karen Ogawa,
Approved?
and Maintenance Brian Lewis.
Approved.
Thank you very much. That's approved 4-0. Next on our agenda are public comments for items not on the agenda. I do have a speaker slip here from Stephen Dubin. If you'd like to step up to the podium. And
Hey, Michael, really quick.
Oh, yes.
Did we approve phase 2?
Oh,
The 2 segments?
sorry. Sorry, Stephen, I jumped the gun here.
Oh, that's okay.
So, thank you, Robert.
No, you're fine.
So that was phase 1.
Yes. Segment 1.
Okay. So we'll vote now, my apologies, for phase 2, segment 2. Do we have a motion and a second for phase 1, or excuse me, phase 2, segment 2?
I'll motion it.
All right, thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you. And I will conduct the roll call vote for phase 2, segment 2 of the last item. Assistant City Manager Neil Mehta.
Approve?
Thank you. Capital Improvement Program Manager Robert Ortega.
Approve.
Finance Director Karen Ogawa.
Approved?
And maintenance, Brian Lewis.
Approved.
Thank you. So phase 2, segment 2, approved 4-0. Now we're in public comments for those.
Thank you.
Not on the agenda. Thank you, Stephen. If you could just, before you begin, state your name and address for the record.
Certainly. My name is Stephen Dubin. I'm a resident of West Covina. I live at 1649 East Vine Avenue. I'm currently a crossing guard for the Merlinda Elementary School. I've been a crossing guard for 11 years now, and I do try to come to a lot of these traffic committee meetings because there's a lot that's going on, and I got to give the committee and all you folks a lot of props for making a lot of improvements that I've noticed, I'd say, in the last year, especially regarding where my school is right now. I see that the crosswalk had to be repainted again, which they did a good job on that. I also noticed on the stoplights, they put the shielding on the stoplights and the yield to pedestrian signs, which is great. I mean, that's really, really good, but there's still a couple of other things I think that really need to be addressed. It's not asking much, but where it says school zone on Valinda Avenue, that's really faded bad, and that needs to be painted so people can see it. Because I'll tell you, like this morning was really terrible with people speeding and running the stoplights and, doing 40 to 60 in a school zone, which brings up the subject of the speed, the radars, the speed monitors. Now, I noticed that on Vine Avenue, to my surprise, they put up two of them. I must have missed a meeting when that was brought up, because you know what? That was a great idea. There has really been a significant reduction in people speeding up and down because, you know, they're right near Vine Elementary School, and, you know, that was a really good safety move on that. So I was wondering if at all possible, Ms. Finance Manager, if we could possibly get one on Valinda Avenue. I mean, I know the speed limit on Valinda is 40. It says, you know, speed limit 25 when children are present. But I was just wondering if it might be possible to get you know, maybe one of those on Valinda Avenue, especially when, you know, the children are coming to and from school. And I don't know if it's feasible. Jana might have some input on that, you know. But, you know, really, really good job, everybody, on the improvements and stuff. Now, I took the liberty. There's one other problem that I have is people parking in the crosswalk, especially when they drop their kids off to school, but especially in the afternoon picking up. So I took the liberty of making a bunch of these, and I've been handing them out to people when they park in the crosswalk. I said, look, there's a new state law. If there's any way maybe that there can be some kind of signage, you know, that says, you know, do not park in crosswalk, you know, law effective January 1st, 2025, that would really save me from having to cross the people between cars and stuff like that.
What is a crosswalk? What specifically? Because we already can send out like code enforcement.
Well, the crosswalk is on Merced Avenue going this way,
Okay.
east and west, and then north and south on Valinda.
Okay.
Now, the one going east and west the one on Valinda Avenue, I should say, is the one where they tend to stop.
Stop there.
And sometimes even the traffic backs up 2 or 3 cars, and then you have a big mess of these people honking, you know. And it's just, you know, it's problematic. So I thought maybe some signage. Now, they've been getting a lot better. I will say that it's been a little bit better since I've been passing these out, and these people see in my pocket new state laws, and they'll kind of hesitate about going into the into the crosswalk, but, you know, it's still not quite 20 feet, but, you know, here, just, everybody see, I got a bunch of them, so. But pretty much, you know, all in all, people, I mean, everybody's been really, really helpful as far as the safety. I noticed you're addressing other areas in West Covina that, you know, really need attention. And like I say, if you need a crossing guard by Hollingsworth School, call ACMS. Yeah, call them. They're the crossing guard company, and they're nationwide, actually, and they're an excellent company to work for. They really are. So I won't take up any more of your time, folks. Just thank you very much for listening, okay?
Thank you.
And here-
Thank you, sir.
Just a request.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Oh,
much.
one other thing. You know, the time change is coming in November, so we're going to be here in the dark and leaving in the dark. So if there's any way, maybe we can, you know, move the time to maybe like 4 o'clock, if there's any way possible, because I understand when I went to the city clerk last week, they said West Covina's in a world of hurt right now, and they're cutting back on a lot of services, which, you know, I understand, you know, every city has its problems and stuff like that. And I see you guys move from the 3rd floor, where I wound up a little earlier. They told me to come down here, so I'll be coming here from now on. But maybe if there's a way to, you know, bump the time up so we won't have to be, you know, at least coming here in the dark. You know, it'd be bad enough driving home, but, you know, I'm just looking out for all you, okay?
Just for your information, the new setting and time was established by resolution by city council. So if we were to change it, I'm not saying we can't,
Yeah.
but it would have to be considered by council, and a new resolution would have to be passed to provide different times.
Yeah, well, I mean,
But-
if it ever comes up, just kind of let them know that maybe it'd be a lot safer if people, you know, would be able to come here, at least during the daylight and stuff, because, you know, after 6 o'clock, everybody's coming home, the traffic's a lot heavier than it was coming here at 3 o'clock, so,
Right.
you know, just something to
No,
consider.
appreciate the suggestion. and
Thank you all
We'll
for
share it.
listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, any additional comments for matters not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll close that portion of the public comment. So I'll now open it up to our committee members. Are there any final comments, questions before we adjourn tonight?
No?
No, thank you. It's quite an honor to sit on this commission, so thank you.
And thank you to the panel members for participating. I appreciate your input. I thought it was very helpful, as well as in future meetings, I'm sure we'll receive some feedback on specific items from the public as well. So thank you. So at this time, I'll announce that our next meeting is currently scheduled for Wednesday, October 15th at 6 p.m., and we will adjourn officially at 6:57. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.